Before, after.
Hey guys, I'm Mama Pepper here at the Abundant Harvest Homestead, and today we're going to be making some shelves. The reason we want to change this up is because it's not working so good for us and our family here. The books get messed up a lot. They don't always get put back on the shelf appropriately, like this. And after letting the kids know various times, you know, this is how we put a book away, they still don't get put back the way they should be. And most of the time this is a big mess. So we thought of a new idea, and we want to put some pallet shelves here, maybe 2, I don't know, 3, what we'll do. But Papa, when he was out at work just yesterday, picked up this piece of wood from an old fence, and it looks like some really nice barn wood. So we're going to try to turn this into some nice shelves for us to make this a lot easier for us to keep our books nice and organized. So we're thinking if we put the wall shelves here with the pallet, we can easily store the books in just upright, and then every time the kids put the book away, it's always going to be neat, and it's not going to be a big pile, a big mess on the floor. So that's our goal. Right now this is all fixed up and nice because I just fixed it up just a few days ago. It doesn't always look like this. Usually it looks like a big mess. So we're trying something new, and we'll see what it turns out like.
So I did get a whole pile of boards like this from an old fence. Somebody had backed into the gate for a dumpster enclosure. This stuff's been out there weathered quite a bit. And what we're going to do is just kind of, rather than starting with the pallets, which we've got a ton of pallets here, we're going to kind of replicate something using this wood that I think is going to be even better for us. We're going to make it about 40 inches wide, just like a pallet would be. But then we're going to use this, and we're going to have 3 of these for the backer, and 1 for the bottom, 1 for each side. And then over the first layer, we're going to have a full one. Then we're going to have a half open. We're going to have one of these running across, and then the top will be open. So there'll be the pocket to put the book in, but then it's going to have an added little support line of half of one of these a little bit higher up. When I cut into this, it's going to be fresh looking, so you can see that. So I'm probably going to lightly dust it with some black spray paint to kind of gray the whole thing. I could mix some steel wool with vinegar, or there's other ways to age wood, but I think I'll just give it a quick dusting. I've been kind of on some projects lately trying to make this house a home. Across the way we're going to put in the wood stove soon, hopefully, but wanted to get this going and help make Mama happy and give us some good projects.
Yep, and get organized.
So the more she looks on Pinterest and the internet and finds other things, we'll be doing a couple other things too. And we'll see how many of these we'll have left over. I should be able to have, was it 1 or both of these for 12? Yeah, I think if I have 12 boards, 6 boards each is what I should be able to use. So if I've got 12 boards, I'll build 2. I should have more than that, but we'll just kind of see what we got and go from there.
Okay guys, so one more tip on organizing some things in our living room here. I made a mistake, and I thought I was helping out my kids by getting these bins for toys. Like I said, I have organized this a few days ago, so it does have larger items in here, but what ended up happening is all of my toys, which I moved into these little containers, were being thrown into these bins, and every time the kids cleaned up the living room, all of these pieces were getting tossed in here, and it was just turning into this big, large load of messed up toys with a bunch of pieces, and it just wasn't working out. So the kids were not able to enjoy their toys because I gave them these 2 big bins, and then just everything got thrown in there. So instead, I decided that we should organize them into these smaller little shoe boxes that I got at the Dollar General for $1, and this is going to help them keep their toys organized and be able to enjoy their toys a lot easier and not have this big bin full of a bunch of pieces. And so we kept this for larger items for the kids, their babies, their play diapers for their babies, little carriers and things like that. and just tried to organize their things so that it would be much more pleasant for everyone. And yeah. So that will go along with our whole bookshelf idea, just organizing the things into little compartments and making it easier to store, and so it can be more peaceful in our home instead of big chaos in this area.
So guys, at the moment I've set out my resources. Got a number of these full boards. As you can tell, I mean, they really look like barnwood. You know, it's just that old weathered wood. You can see on the inside the broken ones. That's the color I'm going to be dealing with anytime I cut. So I'm going to have to watch out for that. Monster trucks in the shipping container, getting some black spray paint right now. I'm definitely going to have enough of this to make 2 shelves, and we'll see what else we can do. I do have a plan. I'm going to use up whatever ones I can when I'm able. Most of the stuff will just got tossed in the trash too, kids, or people. Sorry, I'm used to talking to my children. And taken to a dump or burned or something like that. But there's not always a lot of good that comes with stuff like this. So to salvage it and put it to use and make a happy wife in the process is good. These are also some old screws I got. I know these days screws are, you know, almost a dime a dozen. Easy to come by. But you better have some supplies on hand if things ever really go bad, and such common things aren't that easy to obtain anymore. So I like to save and reuse whenever possible. So those ones are free. I've also got some other ones. And then I snuck one of these out of the house. Mama Pepper wanted to add that part about the organization, and she's got 6 of those for toys right now. If I've got enough, I may make a little thing to put down at the bottom out of these 2 just to surprise her with. I've kind of got it hidden behind these buckets, and I had to sneak it out of the house so she doesn't see it. Because if I'm able to, I want to make something that works for that too, because she wants that in the same area, although she might be getting rid of those big drawers in that immediate area. So what I'm gonna do is cut these to length, get these together, and then I'll shoot a little bit of video of kind of putting them together and how it's gonna go, so you guys get a better understanding, and then we'll show you the finished project. So here are the first 5 boards. This is the majority of the first shelf. 3 for the back wall, 1 for the bottom, 1 for the front. I'll put one up each side and then a half one across the front, but that's almost all the lumber we need. But with those first 5, by choosing wisely, that's all the waste I've made. And these aren't exactly all that big, so that's pretty good. There'll be more in the future as far as the waste, but I really never even touched any of my full boards. So those are all probably 6 feet, and I never even touched any of those, and I've already almost got the first one built. So I will make the half one for the front, and I'll start putting these together, and then we'll get the back one, the sides too. Oh, and I'm gonna spray these. As you can see, you've got the ends, you've got stuff like this really light, you've got stuff like this. Again, all these cut ends, you can see how different they are, and then this here too. So I'm gonna spray these before I put them all together, and I'll show you guys what that looks like after. Here's before. So here are these 5 painted, and all I did is add a little bit of black spray paint. This is just the $1, well, it used to be $1, like $1.19 stuff you can get at Walmart. Normally I like to use a flat black. All I had was gloss black on hand, and while I may have $1 to spend, I don't have an hour to run into town and grab some more. So you can see now it's a much more uniform coloration. You can still see a difference on some of these, but it matches better. And then also, you know, with the cracks in here, or the chop in the middle, the burn marks over there from grinding off the screws, the cool thing about doing natural rustic stuff is if it looks junky, that's the way it's supposed to be. So one reason I like doing stuff like this, where it doesn't have to be perfect, or as perfect as man can get it. So we will start putting this together then. You ready, boy? Well guys, there is number 1. Went up about 18 inches for each of the boards on the side, and then had one that was broken already that I put in for the middle. That's how it looks. Cool thing is, I only used 3 screws that I paid for. The rest of the screws were those free ones I had from before, and that's all the extra scrap I made. So for this project so far, That tiny little bit there is my waste. Everything's been free except for those 5 screws I paid for. Is it getting heavy? Monster truck, help her. So, and there's number 1. We'll build one more, and then I may work on that secret project, but I'm gonna go show Mama and get her reaction, make sure this is what she actually wants, and that it'll work for our family. And on the back wall, some of these were bowed, so this one's sticking out a little bit, the center one, but when I screw it to the wall, it should suck that up, and that'll work. What do you guys think?
I like it.
You think Mama will like it?
Yeah.
And how about the look of that? I mean, it looks rustic, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Somebody lead her by the hand so she doesn't have to open her eyes. And then when she gets up to it,
Yeah,
she
Mom,
can open her eyes.
Okay.
She's gonna lead you. Just trust your daughter.
All right.
And put her right against this wall over here by the hole.
Oh boy.
Okay, and step back, child. Mom, stay.
Okay.
And you may now open your eyes.
Whoa, look at that.
I had to use 5 screws that I bought.
Okay.
Everything else.
Okay.
Do you think that's gonna work?
I think it'll work.
Is it bigger than you were hoping for?
It's taller than I was expecting it to be.
Well, I mean, it's like,
Because I was thinking maybe like up to here, a little
well, I can make a smaller one that matches.
here.
But you're right, for a lot of our books, that is
It's a little
deeper than it needs
tall.
to be.
So this could be the bottom shelf,
Okay.
perhaps, because then
For
any
big books?
tall books. So I like this extra little
Yeah.
piece of wood there because I like seeing the book through it. It kind of looks, adds a little extra look to it.
Sure. And the other thing I could do is just drop this down a bit and cut it off a little bit.
Sure, I think we could do that too.
Let me make
Maybe-
a littler one.
Do you want to?
Let me make a littler one,
Okay.
and then we'll learn and see what we
Okay.
want.
All right.
And we'll work on our self-sufficiency. So, now's come the time when I need to downsize, and so I will. I'll make a smaller one, and then we'll see if we want to shrink that first one. Only take a couple screws out, make a couple cuts, spray them again, couple screws back in, not a big deal. But we'll see. So I'll get the second one built, show you guys that, see what Mama thinks, and then adjust our life as need be. Plus I still want to sneaker that secret. So we'll see if it works.